Dude,
that is crazy.
Great visual clue.
That is crazy.
And you wouldn't pick it up in the first episode.
How'd you catch that, Paul? Damn. What's up, Reject Nation? We are going to watch today a video I've been wanting to watch since we started Squid Game because I want to know what the heck this title was possibly implying. Every ending clue that, spoiler, things you missed in hidden details. Obviously, I believe this is hinting towards the fact that the old man was really behind the Squid Games the entire time. This is heavy spoilers, Paul's biggest video he's ever done, just in the matter of a couple weeks. Congratulations to you, brother. You've grown like 60,000 subscribers or something in like a week. So proud of you, man. So proud of you. Check out his channel. He's been obviously killing it. So let's see what's going on. All the hidden clues that we did not catch, because man, that was a damn good show. And of course, you could check out all our reactions. They're now up here on the channel.
Okay, so did you know that the players in Squid Game could have actually seen what games they'd be playing before they even played them? Between the matches, the characters were all placed into a room filled with bunk beds, and though this seemed just like a rest area, if you look at the walls, they're actually filled with significant markings. As the beds get slowly stripped away,
last episode I started to finally notice that.
Will be playing throughout the tournament. First is red light, green light. There's also the honeycomb game, Tug of War, the glass hopping one, the three at the table, and lastly the titular Squid Game.
No way! Already, there are so many clues staring at the players, at least in plain sight, because they said it's like all the beds are being moved away. To know that the clues were there the whole time, because so much of them was like, what's the next game? We gotta prepare ourselves. What's the next game? That could have helped. Damn, that's pretty gnarly to know. It was right there the whole time.
Clue.
And honestly, I never noticed this entire time I watched it.
The series itself is filled with clues to the eventual reveals, and this is also the case with the player who's behind the entire thing. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and throughout this video we're going to be breaking it all down, but I just want to give a huge spoiler alert for the series. If you haven't checked it out, then this is your chance to quit playing, but if you want to continue, then I hope you thumbs up the video and also subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into Squid Game. Okay, so at the end of Squid Game, we learn that it was Il-nam all along. The final episode reveals that he invented the games as a form of entertainment for him and his rich buddies who had become bored with life. We learn that he had actually got involved in the one that we see in the show because he was dying and wanted a final bit of fun in his life before it was too late. The ending was absolutely incredible, and the scene had Ji-hun saying goodbye to the character as he lay on his deathbed.
I did hear, because we've been saying Gi-hun or Ji-hun, but I've heard some people correct us, saying that it's probably Ki-hun.
Okay. I mean,
the G's are kind of pronounced with a K.
I will take any tip I can get.
Honestly,
I'm sure that
probably
we butchered
still
it.
wrong.
Ki-hun. I'll make that until I get corrected again.
I don't know. We're not Korean. We don't speak Korean.
This last meeting actually reflected their first one, in which he too encountered the character as he sat in a bed. It was a pretty big twist that pulled the rug out from under your feet, but eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted early on that there were several clues pointing towards his true identity.
Really?
The first one is that he is number one, the very first player. If we look at the subtext of the series, Ji-hun is the final number, and throughout we watch as he very much works his way to first place, aka Il-nam. In the final episode, he's left as number one. He inherits a large portion of the character's fortune, and comes face to face with him in one of the final scenes. One is symbolic on a number of levels, and because it's the first place, it also hints to us that Il-nam is number one and that he's the one controlling everything. In episode 5, Hwang Jun-ho sneaks through the compound, and he eventually finds a storage room with files on all of the games that have happened over the decades. Upon opening the 2021, the first player there is actually number 2, and Il-nam's profile is completely missing. There is no file for number 1 because he doesn't need or want to keep a record for himself.
Oh, crap.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great detail.
That's solid. I was trying to keep up with the dates, so I wasn't sure exactly which manual we pulled from, if this was exactly our game that we were watching or if this was a different one, because they mentioned they were going around worldwide. Yeah, no, that's... It's kind of staring you in plain sight at that moment.
Yeah, no, it's so quick. You're like, maybe just open to page 2. You know? Yeah, once you examine it, it's crazy.
And you're already processing so much other information during that scene. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, this is a good video. No wonder this video did so well for you, Paul.
The other players in the game also somewhat hint towards us that something is off with Il-nam, and though it's not too obvious, when you really think about it, he wouldn't be someone that would be selected for the process. Everyone else in the Squid Game is roughly the same age, whereas he's extremely elderly. He's also dying of a brain tumor, and thus even if he did win the life-changing money, it wouldn't last that long. though he gives his reasons as to why he wants it. From what we know about the games and the players that have been selected in the past, they're all roughly between 20 and 40, and he's a complete outlier in all of this. Now the games themselves are also major giveaways too. Throughout the series we watched as he said they were all things that he'd played as a child, and in retrospect it becomes blatantly obvious that he selected them himself because they're what he knows. On repeat viewings it's clear that each of them are something that he not only played as a kid, but they're also things that he's very good at. Now the first thing they play is red light green light. Whilst the other players are absolutely terrified for their lives, he gleefully struts about whilst the Terminator's back is turned, and even stops before it looks back to face the crowd. He knows all of the lyrics to the song that the machine sings, and therefore knows to stop in advance before it ends and turns back around. If we look at the clip of the targeted players, you might also notice something different about him. The one directly to his left and all of the other ones to the side have a slight green overlay that appears over the top of them. If we look at the players to his right, outside of the girl crouching down beside him, this is also the case too. Everyone other than him in this girl's tracksuit appears slightly green, and I believe that this machine sees him without the glow because it's been programmed not to shoot him. If this theory is right, then he also has a protective ring around him that stops the machine from firing at people in his vicinity in case it misses, and that's why the girl to his right is also safe too.
Dude.
That is crazy.
Great visual clue.
That is crazy.
And you wouldn't pick it up in the first
How'd you catch
episode.
that, Paul? Damn. Because I thought the biggest indicator in that moment, when they revealed it, I think one of the first things I said was, that's why you was smiling, because that's what seemed off.
He's smiling the whole game too, like every game, even after like Tug of War, he's laying there grinning his ass off.
But that particular game stood out to me because this is everyone's exposure that this is a life and death situation, that you will die if you do not successfully play this game. That's why everyone's terrified and he isn't. You know, it's easy to just chalk that moment up to, he's just a senile old man. He doesn't really get what's going on. He's just playing the game. But it always did strike me as a little bit odd that he wasn't at all fazed by the death surrounding him in that moment. But that is a solid ass clue right there. Holy crap.
Immediately after this game, the players decide to cast a vote on whether they should end the tournament or not. He is the one who makes the choice in the end and casts the deciding vote to end the game. This subtly shows his power over the entire thing, and I actually think that he carried this out for a specific reason. He wanted to give the players a chance to walk away from it all knowing the stakes, and if they came back then that would ease his conscience slightly as the choice was theirs.
Yeah, I thought he mentioned that in his deathbed, that was a big part of you guys chose to be here. That seemed kind of intentional.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he wanted them to select to come back. That he actually knows they would come back, but it was so that part of the confrontation with Kihon in the end of it all was to lay that dope line.
Well, that's the smartest part of his entire plan. If you make it out and then you still want to go to the authorities, it's like you agreed to go.
Yeah.
You signed away your life. You wanted to do this.
Now cut to the honeycomb game, and Ilnam ends up choosing the star. Though this seems like a very complex shape, there's not actually any bends in it like the circles or umbrellas. Though you might think it's easier to have the triangle's lines are longer, whereas the stars are shorter, so there's less to cut through before you hit an edge. Being completely honest though, the triangle is a pretty easy shape too, but Ilnam didn't exactly have one of the difficult ones either. And next we jump to episode 4, in which a fight breaks out during the night. Throughout, Ilnam hides away from the carnage up on one of the bleachers, and he ends up begging for the fighting to stop. Even though up until this point it seemed like the front man was completely in control, he immediately sends the guards in because Ilnam requests it. Another clue is that his bed is the only one that isn't flipped, and this is because the guards likely know who he is. Next they play a game of Tug of War, and because of their players it seems like Ilnam's team are about to be sent to their deaths. However, he is the one who tells them how to win, and because of his guidance they easily beat the much stronger team. Ilnam had clearly played the game hundreds of times before and knew the best strategy to take. Any team with him was destined to win, and the fact his strategy works definitely proves this. The final game in which he takes part is the marbles one, and this also has a lot of clues in it. Throughout it, it seems like the character is struck by dementia, and he constantly walks around looking for his house. This game not only pulls from his childhood, but the area does too, and unless the Squid Game organisers were psychic, then they'd have no way of knowing what his home looked like. Throughout the episode, everything he says is brushed away as the ramblings of someone with the disease, but knowing what we know, it becomes all the more obvious that he's in control. In the end, he seems to find his home, and personally, I believe that this is a perfect recreation of it. He's giving the game away because throughout the entire season, he's letting us know that all of the challenges and environments are based on things from his life. He lets Ji-hun win, and the character is then seemingly killed off camera, but we know that isn't the case.
Yeah.
If we look closely at the gate that Ji-hun has just walked out of, we can see that he's no longer there, and though the rest of the court is filled with bodies, his is completely missing.
What?
And knowing what we know, a question you may have is why did Ilnam end up leaving the game at
Such
this
a
point
well-framed
when he was
sequence.
still invested in playing?
Because you can't do the
Well,
bridge.
the next game is the Deadly Hopscotch
Yeah.
one, and this is by far the most unpredictable of the lot. If he didn't end up getting put in last place, then there would be a danger that the person behind him could push him to his death, like what we see in the episode. There's also the possibility that due to his brain tumour, he may have forgotten along the way which glass to step on, and he simply couldn't risk it.
Also, just like physically, you have to have incredible balance to be able to jump from glass to glass. And if you have that level of fear of the heights and such, I'm surprised no one just botched trying to jump from
One to
glass
the
to
next.
glass.
Yeah,
because I feel like in my situation, and I'm pretty coordinated when it comes to something like that. But if I have enough fear running through my brain and body, I might not be so focused that I might botch my next jump, even if it's the correct glass to land on.
Well, yeah, and they spaced him far out enough that it's not like, a good wide stride.
You can't just
lets
step on it. Yeah, you
can
gotta
I test
jump.
this out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make that choice. And yeah, for him, I'm like, how many jumps do you got in you, buddy?
Yeah.
I actually think the series becomes better on a second watch. Now obviously I'd love to hear if you spotted
Pretty
any of the
great on
ones
our first
below.
watch too.
And if this is your first time here, then I hope you enjoyed your trip to the Heavy Spoilers show.
Dude, great work, Paul. Man,
Absolutely.
That one for the red light, green light, that one blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, the sensor.
It's right. It's kind of staring you in the. Well, that's what I think what's good about a lot of them is they are kind of staring you in the face. There were like little things that made me suspicious along the way, especially if you watch our reactions of like, you don't see him get shot on camera. Why is he always happy? Something seems a little suspect. Honestly, when I was seeing like thumbnails going around for Ilnam, I was assuming that it was about like, oh, what was leading to his death, not what was leading to the ending reveal. But
Yeah.
what I love that you pointed out here especially is how his reunion with Gi-hun is reflective of the first encounter he has with Gi-hun.
Yeah.
I actually didn't draw that parallel, but that's always really cool because I thought the last episode is already doing kind of a parallel of the first one to show the arc of Gi-hun, but even showing that moment too. Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Paul. That was an amazing ass video. Guys, subscribe to Heavy Spoilers if you haven't done so already. He's really struggling right now. You can subscribe to us, hit that like button. Last but not least, Maria Hammond. Maria, we actually shot and edited a whole shout out for you for the final episode of What If. That's why I was rocking that shirt that you gave me, the Black Panther one. And I was like saying all these nice things about you. Upon export, didn't realize it until way after it was uploaded. The whole shout out actually wasn't exported along with it in the final file because we had to do like 3 files for this. And I'm sorry. You're still getting shouted out here. And I just want to say thank you, because you have given us, I think, around $4,000 worth of items.
That's right.
In the past month. I don't know why you're not just selling them for yourself, because you might end up in this position where you have to compete in the Squid Games, which you would win.
Oh yeah, you would definitely.
You're a tough
win,
cookie.
yeah.
You would probably just kill everyone while they're sleeping, and they'd be like, they're the winner. Knowing you, that's the way it would go.
Killed 455 people.
Yeah, stealthily.
Yeah.
No one suspected or woke up or heard a thing.
Fair rules. Everyone was under the same conditions. Maria just has that cunning instinct.